Economics is how we make choices given that we have unlimited wants and scarce or limited resources. Macroeconomics applies to the economy as a whole, and microeconomics applies to individual businesses. And macroeconomics is basically on a larger scale. The 5 foundations of economics are incentives, trade-off, opportunity cost, marginal thinking, and trade. Incentives are things that can help change your choices. There are 2 types of incentives, positive and negative. You can attract businesses by providing positive incentives. An example of a positive incentive is the government providing tax breaks for businesses that provide a lot of jobs and generate a lot of revenue. Negative incentives or disincentives are paying taxes being required. A real-world example of a negative incentive is Metro North charging a penalty for buying tickets on board. They want people to buy tickets at the station. Next is trade-offs. When you have limited resources and unlimited wants, you must choose what to get. If I buy more of good 1, I must buy less of good 2. A real-world example of a trade-off is the comparison between the U.S. government defense spending versus the social programs expenditure. Spending more on the other leads to less spending on the other. Opportunity cost is fairly simple. It's the value of the next best alternative. A real-world example of opportunity cost is attending college versus working full-time after high school. By attending college, you may be giving up working a full-time position. Marginal thinking is comparing marginal benefit and marginal cost. Trade is voluntary, meaning all parties are benefiting as long as it is voluntary. A barter system is one good being exchanged for another good. In a barter system, there's no money, so it's just one good exchanged for another good. So I have a grain of wheat, you want a grain of wheat, you give me another. A problem with the barter system is a double coincidence of wants. If someone doesn't want what the other person has, then it won't work. A market-based economy or a capitalist economy is where people are free to make choices. A comparative advantage is when a country or individual can produce a good at a lower opportunity cost than others. An example of this is China can produce a Nike sneaker at a lower opportunity cost than the US. That is why we outsource labor. It's very common to outsource labor when another country or individual can produce something at a lower opportunity cost than your country, obviously, because who wants to spend more money? As you can see in the image above, the supply curve points up and the demand curve points down. And on the y-axis is price, and on the x-axis is quantity. Ceteris Paribus, an assumption made in economics meaning all other things are constant or all other things remain unchanged.